So as you know, Bordeaux blends, it's what we do. It's not always obligatory, but it is normal. And what is interesting, talking about innovation and change in Bordeaux, is we're seeing more and more people experimenting with single varietal wines, which we never really saw before. But it's something that we're really seeing people play around with. I think winemakers are having a bit of fun with it. We are the largest vineyard for the major grape varieties that we're associated with. Oh, have I gone backwards? No, there we go. And so whites and reds. So as you know, Bordeaux is dominated by red. Almost 90% is red grape varieties. 89%, I think it is currently, is red. And this I've always found very interesting because white Bordeaux wines have increased in quality spectacularly over the last 20 years. Spectacularly. And there's never enough. And I don't know why they don't plant more. But everybody seems to run out of white wine. So the grape varieties, you know, I'm sure, Semillon, Sauvignon, and a little bit of Muscadel. We have 2 new white grape varieties that have joined the club. I don't know if you've heard about this. We introduced experimentally in 2019 some new grape varieties. I'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. And this is one of the experiments that we're doing to rise to climate change. So experimenting with grape varieties that allow us to see if they adapt. And I'll explain how it works, but just so you've got those grape varieties there for memory. For the red varieties, again, the classics.
Sorry. What were those percentages? Oh, percentage of total, not just white, but it's of white and red. Is that what that means? Because those don't add up to 100%.
It doesn't add up to 100%. It's 40 Sauvignon.
Oh, 40.
There's a 0 missing.
I thought that sounded
Oh.
Yeah, well spotted. Yeah, there's a 0 missing. Sorry about that. Where am I going? Backwards. Forwards, Wendy. There we go. Red varieties. Does that add up? Got the mathematicians in the room? So as I said, despite Cabernet being the iconic grape variety of Bordeaux, it is the majority of Merlot, and it's growing. Merlot seems to be growing, which seems counterintuitive when you think about global warming. I think it's more to do with wineries trying to produce wines now that are ready for drinking earlier, that are responding to that demand of a clientele. And again, coming back to that thought that, you know, 50% of Bordeaux is Bordeaux and Bordeaux soup, that are wines that tend to be designed for drinking early rather than later. Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, we know, and then the other Petit Verdot, Malbec, Carmenère that are classics, and then these new grape varieties that have been introduced in 2019. So this new grape varieties, currently, they're only able to be used in the appellations Bordeaux and Bordeaux Superior. So you won't see them anywhere else. They can only be less than 5% of the vineyard and less than 10% of the blend. So it is very much experimental. They've already experimented in sort of lab conditions, if you like, in experimental vineyards, but now this has been rolled out. It's very interesting to hear different wine growers' reactions to this. Most wine growers agree that things need to be done and there are challenges, but most wine growers, I would say, feel that they already have enough tools to deal with it. But who knows what the climate's going to do, right? And the tools that they're using it's the way they're managing the vineyard, more sustainable management, different canopy management, different ways of stripping leaves, and also agroforestry, managing the vineyard in a different way. So it's interesting to see not everybody has dashed out and planted these, but they can, and it is there, and it is experimental. So it's worth being aware of it. So the idea is they're less sensitive to temperature and drought stress and less sensitive to certain diseases. So that's what we're experimenting with. So